Hello and welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today we are going to talk about why I chose Xbox Series X this generation as my preferred platform. As you can see, I have the PlayStation 5, have the Xbox Series X, and the Xbox Series X. So, a lot of it has to do with backward compatibility, and not just regular backward compatibility, because the PlayStation 5 offers that. I'm talking about enhanced backward compatibility that makes my already previous Xbox One X games really look amazing now. PlayStation 5, I mean, a couple of them gotten 60 FPS updates. You got Final Fantasy 7 Remake that's going to get an actual PS5 version. So, I mean, there is some there, but as it sits on Xbox Series X, I have way more games that are getting updated. Not to mention FPS boost. I mean, all of the battlefields at 120 frames a second on a console. Yeah, they might be 1080p, but yeah, you can't really tell. And to be able to experience that, wow, wow. And I guess the rumor is next week sometime we're getting 70 more titles with FPS boost. Man, I'm happy because I have a pretty big collection of Xbox One games that, wow, Xbox is knocking it out of the park with the backwards compatibility. Auto HDR looks amazing on most of the games that I've tried it on, and you got a toggle. If it doesn't look good, you could turn it off. Um, yeah, Xbox Series X, when it came out, I definitely bought mine day one because of the games that I already had that I wanted to be able to take advantage of the new hardware. Like Settle Corsa Competizione runs at a solid 60 frames a second now, and it looks good because it's still 4K. You have, I mean, there's really not many first-party Xbox games that come out, but I mean, most of the games I play are third-party anyways, so it doesn't really matter. And last generation, when I bought the Xbox One X, playing games like Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Assassin's Creed Origins and pretty close to 4K was nice because I had already had a PS4 Pro and I had Assassin's Creed Origins. But then when the Series Xbox One X came out, I bought it again on that, and I mean it was night and day. The Xbox One X version ran better. It was much nicer looking. You could stand on the top of something and look around, and everything was already loaded in. Where on PlayStation, every time you'd turn 25 degrees, everything would have to load in again, all the shadows and everything. So, yeah, I am extremely satisfied with the way the Xbox Series X runs. I've had PlayStation 5 now for about 2 months. It took me a long time because I was insisting on having to have the digital version. Um, Finally, I gave up. Took me about a week and a half to get one with a disc in it. I just was getting out there. Too many months going by. Um, yeah, but I mean, my experience with the PlayStation 5 so far has been it's been a little more disappointing. I mean, I love it. It's great and all. The controller is fine, but when you've got one of these Series 2 Xbox controllers, it's kind of hard for the PlayStation DualSense to actually compare. Like it doesn't compare. Um, the triggers on the PS5, they feel gimmicky and a little bit cheap. Like I was excited at first because I was like racing games. Yeah, I'm gonna have that tension and stuff. But yeah, that's it's you pull it and then you pull it all the way. You pull it and you pull it all the way. It's not um, that progressive pull that they claim it was going to be, or at least in the racing games that I've played to date, it's not like that. The haptic feedback does feel pretty good, though. I mean, you can feel like when a game actually takes advantage of it and does it right, it feels good. WRC9, I bought that on PlayStation 5 and Series X just so I could see it and play it on the play. That's one of the better racing games that have gotten the actual DualSense support for it. It actually does feel pretty good when you change different terrains and different gravel to like a dirt or tarmac. You can definitely feel the change in the controller, and they did a good job. I would highly recommend, if you're a gamer, to buy the Xbox Series X. You can play 4 generations of Xbox games, and every original Xbox game that I've played that works on the Series X is native 4K. I popped in Indiana Jones the other day because I got it free on the Games with Gold, and it was 4K. I was like, whoa, that's insane. 360 games are getting 4K updates. You're getting FPS boost. I mean, the backward compatibility alone is more than worth the $500 upgrade fee. I mean, you're getting a steal with the Xbox Series X. I can't say the same for PlayStation 5. For PlayStation 5, it is more you get what Sony thinks you deserve, you know, and according to Jim Ryan, he doesn't care about old games because they don't look good. Who would want to play those? But if you're like me and you've invested, you know, a lot of money in digital video games, then yeah, that's awesome that Microsoft is taking the time to make your games better. And not to mention buying stuff like Bethesda. I mean, I have a lot of Bethesda games. I buy a lot of Bethesda games. So being able to get those day one on Game Pass, oh yeah, don't even get me started on Game Pass. Game Pass is the best value in video games ever. I used to manage a Game Crazy back in the early 2000s, and like it's heartbreaking to watch kids come in with their whole freaking with a whole stack of games just to get one new game. That stuff's heartbreaking. And I know as a gamer, you've seen that before, but as a manager, seeing it countless times every day, that really does start to weigh down on you. And now Xbox, they don't have to be shady when they're generous, you know, when they go to be generous with people that are reviewing their stuff like Sony does. Like, I know how generous these companies can be when you're a manager of a game store and you're pushing their product. They get pretty generous. Sony used to do this thing where we would where if we sold a bunch of copies of like Sony first party games or games that they were promoting and stuff like that, like they would kick down like free game code, free games for, you know, me and my employees. They would um, do like free systems, free like, yeah, there was just all kinds of stuff they would give you free. I mean, it was pretty generous. I would say that they were by far the most generous out of everyone, and that's probably why they have such good name recognition today, and they can get away with putting out PS4 Super Pro and charging you $500 for it and raising the price $10 to games. But let me get back to what I was saying about Microsoft not having to be shady no more. Every Xbox game day one comes to Game Pass. Every one of them. You can play these games on a smartphone, a tablet, a computer screen, anywhere, your iPhone, for $15. You can subscribe to Game Pass for $15, and a month, if you're an avid gamer, you could probably blow through every first party Xbox game that's on there right now for $15. That is an amazing value. So they don't have to be shady no more, and they can take more chances and put more content out that, you know, hey, they didn't have to pay a whole bunch of money being generous to all these other people and that marketing budget, because it's all on Game Pass. All they got to do is market Game Pass, and Game Pass is definitely sustainable. There are more, and the more third-party developers that jump on board and start putting their games on there and start going for it, like Outriders. I bought it day one. That's just me. I buy my games. The games that I play on Game Pass, if if they're games that I normally have never heard of or I wouldn't try, or indie games or something like that, and I try them on Game Pass, and if I really like them, then I'll support the developer and I'll buy the game. I'll send them some money that way. But yeah, like Outriders is doing phenomenal right now. You got MLB The Show. Yeah, that I was as surprised as you are. I normally buy MLB The Show every 3 years. This was the year for me to buy it, so I ended up buying it on Xbox this year. I wanted to definitely see that. So I bought it. I bought the Jackie Robinson edition that comes with the Xbox One and the Xbox Series X version, so that I could play it like a couple days early and get some video out on it. And I'm not disappointed. It looks amazing. It's definitely what I thought it was going to be. It is definitely, yeah, it's definitely going to keep me entertained for the next 3 years until I buy. What is that going to be? 2024. Yeah, I usually that's the way I am with sports games. Well, when it comes to like football stuff like that, Madden I don't buy until they go on sale for $30 or less. Um, FIFA, I maybe buy one of those every 5 to 10 years. It just depends on if I want to see. But racing games like recently got into the Moto GP and the motorcycle type games, and I've been buying those every year since. What, 2019. Those are pretty good, and yeah, I keep buying those every year. I mean, they're like $40, $45, $49 when they first come out. So I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's like DLC, so I just buy those. Um, but for the most part, even some of those are coming to Game Pass now. I mean, you could get what was it, MotoGP 20 on Game Pass. Um, I own right now currently, I think 57 of the titles that are on Game Pass, and that was a total of $3,500. And I've had Game Pass now for 3 years, been paying $15 or whatever, and it was like $540. I added it up a while ago, and the savings of that I could have saved on those was about $2,000 if I would have just waited for them to come to Game Pass and download them. That would have saved me like $2,000. But yeah, Game Pass is an amazing value. This thing right here, I bought for my daughter so she could play Fortnite on it, because that's basically Fortnite and Minecraft. I hooked it up in the front room TV because that one does the 120 hertz or whatever, and I was like, you know what, I want to see what this $300 system can do. So I threw in Tony Hawk, and I'm playing it at 120 frames a second. I was like, wow, this is insane. This is intense. For $300, I could play this game at 120 frames a second, and it still looks good, and like it's not bad. I mean, she's only got a 1080p TV, so this thing looks freaking next gen amazing to her. And like playing Fortnite at 60 frames a second at 1080p, she's more than. I mean, that's what that system's for. Is that, I mean, me, that's the market. My daughter, I didn't want to buy her an Xbox Series X because she doesn't have the TV to take care of it, and I didn't want to have to buy her a new TV. But for $300 to get her that, and to play the couple of games that she wants to play, and like that's an amazing deal. $300. I mean, she's got a Switch. That was $300. Junior's got a Switch. That was $300. Oh, and they both said the new Pokemon Snap game is good, so it's probably gonna have one of them sit in with a review on that sometime. Maybe record some video footage, but yeah. But I'm saying, what I'm trying to get across is I think Xbox this generation is by far the best value you're going to get. Like PlayStation, there's no way I would not buy a PlayStation, because PlayStation first party exclusives are hands down the best. I mean, like nobody's even questioning that. No, but nobody's questioning that. Unless of course it's Returnal. $75 for a $50 game is a little extreme. I think that they would have got a lot more better press out of this if they would have priced it accordingly, because it's definitely a double A game. Housemarque is a double A studio. That's what they make. You can definitely tell that this is the best game they've ever made, but it doesn't change the fact that it's still rooted in double A, and it feels double A to me. Like, it doesn't look terrible, but it looks and feels double A to me. And I've been playing video games for a long time, and I, like I said, manage the video game store, and yeah, like Returnal is one of those games that people are going to play for freaking couple hours. They're going to get irritated with it, and they're going to bring it back to me, and they're going to be like, "Why are you only giving me $25 for this? I paid 70." And I'm like, "Because I already got 50 copies of it, dude. You'd be lucky I'm giving you 25." I mean, I feel bad for people like that. But when you have something like Game Pass on a next gen console from the company that can get third party AAA games on that console, yeah, what more can I say? What better value can you get? What better value does Sony have? Sony does not offer that good of a value. Yeah, they make some amazing games, but yeah, like if you're paying $70 for every game that comes out, and let's be honest, most Sony games are one and done. I'm okay with that. They're usually top quality, high quality experiences. So I buy them, I play them, and don't I do it to support the developers because I like good video games. But then when you look at something like Xbox, I've got Xbox games from early, well, I'd say mid generation because of when I didn't even buy the Xbox One until Forza Horizon 3 Blizzard Mountain came out. And yeah, dude, Blizzard Mountain, I had to have it. I wanted to play that really bad. Um, so I had to buy it. You know, I got Gears of War 4 with the console, and I can still play my Xbox games. The only PlayStation 4 game that I still play is Spider-Man and um, Gran Turismo Sport. But I don't even really play Gran Turismo Sport no more because I got to settle Corsa Competizione, which I feel is a better driving experience if you're getting into sim racing. So essentially, my PlayStation 5 is going to sit like my PlayStation 4 Pro did until the next Sony exclusive comes out, and then I will buy it. Because everything else, I'm basically just, I've decided tonight after playing the Resident Evil 8 Village demo that I'm just going to stick to keeping third party games on my Xbox Series X because I can already buy the expanded memory for that. And when I fill those up, I'll just buy another one and put my games on there because I don't want to. I really don't want to delete and resave and delete and resave and delete and resave. So I'll just buy one of those, and then with PlayStation, I will just buy exclusives. And as soon as I can upgrade that memory, I'll get a 2 terabyte, stick it in there, and then that I think 2 terabytes should probably be sufficient for Sony first party games for this generation. If I need to get more, I'll get more, but I feel like two terabytes plus the six whatever is in there is it's going to be more than enough memory for that. So wow, this video is getting pretty long. So don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this content. Um, I guess you could call this a review for Xbox, PlayStation, and Xbox Series S. And we'll see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.